In a lush forest, there lived two frogs named Fred and Frank. They had spent their entire lives in a serene pond nestled within the forest. The pond was their world, and they were content with the life it offered. One sunny morning, Fred hopped out of the pond and explored the surrounding area. He climbed a small hill and saw a vast opening in the earth, a well. Fred couldn't resist the temptation to jump in and explore, so he leapt into the well without hesitation. Inside the well, Fred was amazed by the clear, glistening water. It was unlike anything he had seen in his pond. The walls of the well, however, were steep and smooth, making it impossible to climb out. Fred realized he was trapped. Back in the pond, Frank grew worried when he didn't see Fred return. He called out to his friend, but there was no response. Concerned for Fred's safety, Frank decided to investigate. When Frank arrived at the well and saw Fred trapped inside, he exclaimed, "Fred, how did you end up down there? We must find a way to rescue you." Fred replied, "I was curious, Frank, and I jumped in. But now I can't get out. You must find a way to help me." Frank surveyed the situation and noticed a nearby rope hanging inside the well. He quickly came up with a plan. He tied one end of the rope around his waist, while the other end dangled into the well. "Fred, grab onto the rope tightly," Frank instructed. "I will pull you up." Fred clung to the rope, and Frank exerted all his strength to hoist his friend out of the well. It was a challenging task, but Frank was determined to rescue Fred. With tremendous effort, Frank managed to pull Fred back to the surface. Both frogs were now safe and reunited by the pond. Fred was relieved and grateful for his friend's rescue. As they sat by the pond, Fred reflected on his adventure. He said, "I made a mistake by jumping into the well without thinking, Frank. I let my curiosity get the best of me, and it led to trouble." Frank nodded and replied, "Curiosity is a wonderful trait, Fred, but we must always exercise caution. If we rush into something without considering the consequences, we may find ourselves in a difficult situation. It is essential to think before we act." The moral of the story is that curiosity is a valuable quality that encourages us to explore and learn. However, it must be combined with wisdom and prudence. Before venturing into the unknown or making impulsive decisions, it's essential to consider the potential consequences. As the old saying goes, "Look before you leap." Fred's curiosity led him into a predicament, but thanks to Frank's wisdom and quick thinking, he learned the importance of being cautious and making thoughtful choices.